Hello everybody, welcome back to my channel, or welcome if this is your first time here. Today I am sharing 3 dinner recipes. The first recipe is for this French onion chicken and rice casserole. And the first thing I'm going to do is just shred up my cheddar cheese. Now I've talked about this tool on my channel before, and I do have it linked in my description box below if you're interested in it. It just makes it so much quicker and easier to shred cheese at home, and you get just a better quality product than the pre-shredded cheddar cheese. Next up, in a bowl, I'm going to combine 1 can of cream of chicken soup, and then to that I'm going to be adding in some French onion dip, and then it calls for chicken broth. So what I did is I just went ahead and put my water in there, and then my better than bouillon. I didn't pre-mix it because I knew I was going to whisk all of this together, and then we're going to add in our last ingredients. Now the recipe I was following is from Plain Chicken, and I will have it linked in my description box just like all of the other recipes in this video. And in that recipe she used instant rice, and you can absolutely do that, but you can also substitute any rice that you have on hand. So I just went ahead and cooked up some jasmine rice because that's what we had at our house, and I like the flavor of it. But now I'm going to add in that cheese, the rice, and then I just went ahead and shredded up the chicken breast on a rotisserie chicken. You can use any kind of chicken here or leave it out if you don't want to use the chicken, but I like to use rotisserie chicken a lot because it just makes it really quick and easy to do. So once you have everything thoroughly combined, you're just going to put that into a greased 13 by 9 inch pan, and then we're going to top it with some French fried onions. I actually had sent my husband to the store for some of these ingredients, and he came back with these black pepper and garlic French fried onions. So you can tell the difference here. They're a lot darker in color, but they have really great flavor. At first I was like, oh goodness, but it turned out really well. So if you haven't tried these yet, I do recommend them. They're really good. And this is just the Walmart brand, the Great Value brand here. But you're just going to top that, and then this is going to bake at a 350-degree oven until everything is like hot and combined for about like 20 to 25 minutes. Up next, we have another recipe from Plain Chicken, which is a Doritos taco casserole. And I've never had this before. I actually saw this on TikTok or something similar, and then I just searched a recipe and found this one on Plain Chicken. And I have like loved almost all of their recipes that I've tried. So you're just going to start out by browning a pound of ground beef, and then you do want to drain out any excess grease from that. I was using 93% lean ground beef, but there was still a lot of grease in it. So I just went ahead and drain that and then put it back in the pan. And then to that, you're going to add in some jarred salsa and some taco seasoning, and just stir all of that to combine. And then I let it kind of cook on the stove for a couple of minutes just to heat all of that through and let the spices like work into the ground beef mixture. And something I deviated from in the original recipe is they layered the sour cream separately, but I thought it would just be a lot easier to just go ahead and add it into the ground beef mixture than trying to layer it on top of the ground beef. Just spreading it seemed like it was going to be a pain to me, so I just went ahead and combined that in there, and it turned out phenomenal. So if you don't want to take that extra step, you can do what I did here and just combine everything together in your pan, and then we're going to go ahead and get the casserole assembled next. So you're going to start out by putting a can of crescent rolls into the bottom of a 13 by 9 inch pan, and then I just kind of press the seams of that together, and then you're going to top it with your meat mixture. And then on top of that, you're going to add some shredded cheddar cheese. And this was perfect because I made both of these casseroles in the same week, and I had that cheddar cheese that I had shredded for the first recipe and just went ahead and shredded the whole block, and then I had it ready for this one to go. So you're going to go ahead and spread out that meat mixture, top it with cheese, and then you're going to crush up Doritos and put that on top before baking in the oven. We use the Cooler Ranch Doritos because both of my husband and I prefer the Cool Ranch versus the traditional like nacho cheese flavor, but whatever you like is what you want to put on here. And then you're going to go ahead and bake this in a 350-degree oven for about 30 minutes. And then you can just serve it with your favorite like taco toppings, whether that be like sour cream, lettuce, tomato. It's all delicious. The final recipe that I'm sharing is from Ina Garten, and it is her roasted chicken. And I'm just gonna start out by prepping the vegetables. So I'm gonna go ahead and peel some carrots and then cut them into quarters. Now you're gonna see there are pretty big size differences between some of my carrots. So for the smaller ones, I did leave them in bigger pieces. And then the bigger ones, I went ahead and cut in half as well. And then we're going to prep our onions that are also going to roast with this chicken. I recently started watching the new series on HBO Max, Julia, about Julia Child, and I just fell in love with the show, and I got really inspired to kind of make something different at home that I haven't made in a while and do my own roasted chicken. Now for the onion, you just want to cut it into thin slices, and so what I did here is I just went ahead and cut it in half, like from end to end, and that makes it easiest to follow like the natural curvature of the onion and how the layers go. So once you do that, you just want to cut off the little ends and then peel it, and then you can just run your knife through and get the thin slices that you need. Now, she did say to do the onions thinly sliced, and I will say I have a little note with this recipe. The onions that all were underneath the chicken were perfect. They came out caramelized, full of flavor, same with the carrots. Now the onions that were on the outside of the chicken burned for sure. So you're gonna see here, I'm putting this into a roasting pan. And you wanna layer the onions and the carrots in. I'm gonna top it with some olive oil, salt, pepper, and a little bit of thyme and mix that together before putting the chicken in. I did not have my pan available that's like the appropriate size. That's why I'm keeping all of this on one side here to put the chicken on. But like I was saying before, the next time I make this, which I absolutely will, I will just try to be more mindful either of the size of the onions, if they're going to be outside of the chicken, make them a little bit thicker so they don't burn, or really try to keep them all underneath the chicken. And the vegetables got so much flavor from cooking underneath the chicken because all of those juices ran down in and everything caramelized together, and they were just phenomenal. So I absolutely recommend trying this recipe if you haven't done so yet, and it really is pretty simple. Now that I have my vegetables prepped, I'm just going to go ahead and do the chicken. So she stuffs hers with a whole lemon. You're just going to cut that in half, and then a whole bulb of garlic that you also slice in half. And I'm going to show you right here so that way you can see like how that's cut. So it's open, and that's going to go inside the chicken. So once you get your chicken out of the bag, you just want to rinse that off, take out, if it comes with like the giblets and all of that inside of it, you want to take all of that out, rinse it, and then pat it dry thoroughly. And then you're going to go ahead and stuff it. So we're going to add in the lemon, the garlic, and then a whole handful of fresh thyme. And then at this point, you would want to tie up the two legs together with some twine. It helps it cook more evenly, but I did not have any twine like I thought that I did, and so I did not do it. Now, I will say it still turned out really well. I don't eat the leg meat, my husband does, and he really enjoyed it. But I would just recommend doing that if you have it. It helps it to cook more evenly, but like I said, it still turned out really well. You do want to tuck your wings underneath the chicken though, so that way those don't burn and they cook more evenly. And then we're just going to go ahead and put this on top of the vegetables, and from there we are going to season it. So I'm just going to heavily salt and pepper it, and then we're going to go ahead and place this into the oven. I did almost forget to mention, and you're seeing it here, what I'm pouring on top of the chicken is melted butter, and then you're going to go ahead and salt and pepper it. Now this is going to bake in a 425-degree oven for about an hour and a half. You just want to cook it until the juices between the breast and the thigh run clear when you slice through, or when you use a thermometer to make sure it's cooked to the correct temperature. I really hope that you guys enjoyed these recipes. I can't wait to see you in the next video. Thank you so much for watching, and please don't forget to subscribe before you go.